This is the first letter written by the special US envoy to Derry, Dave Schumann, and he's writing back to his father, who's a shoemaker in Boston, in the States. January, US Consulate, Whitman House, Derry. Dear Pop, okay, you were right. That impression of Bill Clinton was always going to get me in trouble. But how in the hell could I have predicted Hillary was going to get state, or indeed that Joe Biden knew how to upload his video phone onto YouTube? And no, it's no consolation that the clip of me and the cigar has now as many hits as Paris Hilton getting out of that limo. Hillary, according to the boss, actually wanted to send me to head up the new office in Gaza, via Izmir, but Biden felt guilty at what he'd started and beat her down to Northern Ireland. His folks are from Derry, at least at election time they are, and he assured me that since the Troubles stopped 15 years ago, it's one of the safest cities in Europe. He also promised that if I kept my nose clean, I'd be back in Washington within the year, and that he was terribly sorry for the embarrassment he'd caused me. That loud ringing noise you can hear is the fire crew on their way to put out Joe's pants. But whisper it quietly, Pop, though I'm only here a week. I've already fallen in love with the place. The city itself is stunningly beautiful, more of which anon. And as for the people, by God, they're hospitable. 20 years of alcohol awareness messages have sailed right over their heads. But the one thing that sets both Derry and its citizens apart is their abiding certainty that this little town, population 110,000 at a push, is the centre of the universe. We're not talking opinion here either. They don't think Derry is the centre of the universe, not in the way we believe DC to be. They know it. Forget whatever Galileo taught you. The world, the solar system and the universe all revolve around them. All life begins, ends and is centred here. Everything else is gauged solely on how it relates to Derry. England, for example, exists solely as the country to blame for all of Derry's woes. And while the British public sector still funds 2 out of every 3 jobs here, it is only fitting that it does so to pay for the colonial injustices of yesteryear. Derry natives, you've got to love them, are past masters at guilt. They could even teach Robbie Silverman a thing or two, and the poor British have much to feel guilty about, so they've spent the past 10 years cutting I'm sorry checks quicker than you did when Mom caught you with Sally, the housemaid. The Irish government, i.e. the island's main government based in Dublin, are likewise still suffering the consequences for allowing Derry and the other 5 northern counties of the island to be partitioned off into the United Kingdom in the 1920s. Dublin's guilt is compounded by the fact that for all their anti-British sabre-rattling, they'd sooner put their schmeggles in the microwave than reunite the country. Accordingly, they too tend to lower their eyes and nod their heads nervously when Derry demands a hearing. But the Irish influence and their money is largely notional rather than actual. They kick in squat compared to Downing Street. So, in effect, they spend most of their time acting as a backup tag wrestler for Derry when things aren't going too well with the Brits. America, however, is a particular friend of the city. We're pretty much regarded by all as the kindly uncle. It dates back to World War II, when the city was the largest Allied naval base in the North Atlantic, and we had a huge camp here. The GIs were great mixers and were never afraid to spend money. Many of them even married locals. Their generosity and the fact that we'd already beaten Britain in a war made us many friends. The links in fact go back even further. Derry was a big emigration port for Irish leaving for the New World in the 19th and early 20th centuries. There isn't a family in the city that hasn't got a cousin somewhere on the East Coast. Then in the 1960s we gave them an Irish Catholic president, and Derry all but signed up to become the 51st state. No lie, there are still dozens of homes here that have pictures of Kennedy on the kitchen wall, right up alongside Pope Benedict. If the US is Derry's favourite uncle, however, there is little doubt who or what is the city's evil stepmother: Belfast. Belfast is home to the new Stormont administration set up to try to run this little bastard state after 30, 40, 80 or perhaps 800 years of war, depending on what size grudge you carry. By any rational reckoning, Stormont is not a government at all. It has no tax-raising powers, no law-making powers, no say in security matters, and can be overridden at the flick of a pen by London. Kinda like when you gave me my first motorcycle and fitted the block to make sure it couldn't go over 30. In effect, it's a vastly overstaffed committee that carves up a regional budget, but it still manages to piss off Derry no end by ensuring that what little money in the industry there is stays in and around Belfast, the state capital. By the way, if you ever want to start a fight in Derry, just refer to Belfast as the capital without any ironic inflection. They'll hang you from the Guildhall clock. The Derry politicians do the best they can, but there's an age-old Belfast reluctance to pump any money west of the River Bann, get a map, just in case the Southerners ever take up arms and seize back the territory. So in effect, the Derry Cinderellas are left sucking thistles while their Belfast stepmothers keep all the jam for themselves and the two ugly sisters, Ballymena and Lisburn. My job, so far as I can make out, is to make Belfast spread the jam a little more fairly. But from what my new staff tell me, and from what I've seen already this week, I'd have a better chance hitching a lift back home in Hillary's new jet. Or indeed convincing Maggie to move over here and join me. There's another one gone. Be sure and apologise to Mom for me. Ah well, you never know. Maybe your grandkids will be half Irish. Wish me luck. So long and slan. Stay safe.